Top writer, he said they were looking across the corn head and the towards the tractor was just built. He said they bought them all. They used it and that was always one last year. He said the tractors already sold to them. I was so sorry. But they built their tractor last week. I was sad.
We had the same situation. Guy had to wait and stuff. The combine's been sold too.
People, you know, 20-year-old stuff after.
It's per acre. We figure it out per acre. You don't look at the big prices.
One guy told me, he said it don't cost any more to go first class. Just take pay more.
Hello, Nathan.
Hi, Nathan. It takes a little longer to pay.
Payroll. You just look at the trading price. Is that okay? It's okay. Well, I think we'll go ahead and get started this evening. Welcome to everyone. I'm Diane Hoopler, Chairman of the Planning Board, and you can see each of the other individuals' names here, and we welcome you all. The first thing that we do at a meeting is we have open public comments, and this is for a chance for someone that wants to make a comment about something that the planning board works with, but does not have anything to do with what we're talking about tonight. And so if you have something, would you like to go to the podium, state your name and where you live, and then talk. And we do ask that when anyone does speak, that they always go to the podium and state your name and then your statement or whatever. Because the proceedings are recorded and otherwise we don't get it on the tape when you're talking from the audience. So we do ask that. So does anyone have anything that they would like to discuss with us? Okay, not at this time. Well, then we will open our meeting going here with our consent agenda. Consider the minutes for the August 8th meeting and to consider the report of fees for the month of August. Anybody have any questions about them?
I don't have any.
No. Okay,
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda this evening and the report of fees.
okay, it's been moved that we approve the consent agenda and the report of fees. Do I hear a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of the August 8th meeting and the report of fees for August. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 4-0. Okay, do I hear a motion now to adjourn the board of the board or joint meeting of Board of Zoning Appeals and the Planning Board?
I move that we
We move to.
yeah.
I have this wrong on the agenda.
Oh, you did. Okay. I move we adjourn the joint meeting of the Raleigh County Planning and Zoning Board and move on into the zoning of Board Appeals.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the Planning Board and Zoning Board meeting, joint meeting, and go into our Zoning Board meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 4-0. Okay, on our general agenda tonight for the Raleigh County Board of Zoning Appeals, we have a public hearing to consider the request of the Service Member Agricultural Vocational Education Corporation, the Save Farm petitioner and owner for a conditional use authorization to allow a private vocational school in the Ag zoning district for a tract of land in Wildcat Township, Section 16, Township 9 South, Range 6 East. Bob?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, folks. Bob Isaac, County Planner, representing the Service Member Agricultural Vocation Education Corps. Retired Army Major General Todd M. Bunting has made application with Riley County Planning and Development requesting approval for conditional use to establish a private vocational school in the AG Agricultural Zoning District. And I'm going to bring up that show. Here we are. And so that doesn't disappear on me. That on. Okay. The subject property consists of a 7.6 acre portion of a larger unplatted 158 acre parent tract located in the southeast portion of said parent tract. Is generally located approximately 5,120 feet east of Anderson Avenue on the north side of North 52nd Street. Note that this is not a subdivision of land. It's not being platted. It's merely a boundary within which allows the proposed use to occur. According to the Save Farm website, the concept for the Save Farm began nearly a decade ago when retired Colonel Gary LaGrange and his daughter saw results from training beekeeping and providing therapy to soldiers at nearby Fort Riley. Nonprofit was formed by a diverse group of veterans, farm and ranch experts, and educators. The Save Farm provides therapy as needed and hands-on teaching to veterans and transitioning service members through experienced professionals. They learn how to successfully and sustainably manage cropland, livestock, animals, orchards, horticulture, and beekeeping. This program is intended to allow the maintenance of farming as an occupation and retain family farms for the betterment of the population at large. The site has been zoned AG Agricultural District since at least 1974. Most of the property surrounding the subject site is zoned AG Agricultural District, shown here in gray, with the exception of Lot 1 of the Holly Edition, shown here in green, which was rezoned to single-family residential July of 1985. There are no special uses, variances, or conditional uses associated with the subject property. Riley County Fire District number 1 will serve the site. The nearest county fire station is the Riley Rural Fire Station, located at 327 North Main in the city of Riley. The property is not located within 5 road miles, which results in an ISO rating of 10. And because of the proposed use being a school, albeit an agricultural school, staff believe that this map illustrates the proximity of a proposed site to nearby confined animal feeding operations or feedlots in the area. When a development is proposed that may be considered sensitive to the impacts of a CAFO or could impact a CAFO, it's important to know the separation distance between the two uses. Also, the buffer distance indicated on the map, those circles, is a notification area for small and large CAFOs, which is established by Kansas statutes. The site is well outside of those notification areas and auspiciously located regarding prevailing winds. The request was reviewed by officials from Fort Riley's Environmental Division. They reported that the site is located near the Fort Riley military installation that generates noise by firing of weapon systems and detonation of explosives on the installation. The site lies entirely within the land use planning zone shown in blue and is determined to be within the moderate risk for noise complaints, PK15. The property is located approximately 1,000 meters from noise zone 2, shown in yellow, and that's this area over here. And approximately 2,500 meters from noise zone 3, which is not shown, that's the impact area. According to Fort Riley's installation of operational noise management plan of 2015, noise sensitive land uses are generally acceptable within the LUPZ, which is the blue. Okay, this is the site plan showing the existing layout of the property. This site plan serves to illustrate the pre-development phase of the project and to also show the intent of the applicant to develop or redevelop the area of the tract that is not already tilled or dedicated to agricultural production. As mentioned in the staff report, the site abuts and has existing access to North 52nd Street. The existing buildings are slated for removal. And here's the proposed site plan. The rest of the parent tract will either be in agricultural production or will remain in the riparian open space. And we're going to get a little bit closer here. You can see what's actually going on. So before I go into the specifics of the site plan, I want to emphasize that many of the proposed structures and uses will be for agricultural purposes and therefore be exempt from the zoning regulations and the decision of this board. Although the site plan shows the entirety of the proposed layout, the conditional use is for the classroom and administration building and overall layout of the site, all of which is for the purpose of teaching and performing agriculture as an occupation. It is proposed that the existing driveways will be utilized to provide better circulation of the site. The site plan proposes various small livestock enclosures along with following structures. And this is the 28 by 60-foot classroom. This is the 28 by 68 admin building with kitchen. This is the 50 by 100-foot greenhouse. The 50 by 60-foot shop building. The 60 by 100 machine shed. 40 by 60 hay shed. 40 by 60 building for cattle. A 12 by 36 laboratory. And finally, a grain bin gazebo. So just for some perspective, this is a shot looking northwest across the property from North 52nd Street. This is the classroom. This is the admin building. This is the shop, machine shed, laboratory, cattle building, and greenhouse. And these are the small pens for various animals and the gardens out front. You'll see the signs here, and they will have to be, they will be subject, I should say, to the sign regulations, the land development regulations. In this rendering here, with a perspective looking northeasterly from the secondary access to the site, classroom and the admin buildings in the center of the photo. Incidentally, the entrance, the driveways, the parking, for the most part, is all going to be gravel, with the exception of the ADA parking spots, which will be concrete paved. And this one depicts an overhead shot looking directly north, bird's eye view, if you will, of the site. And if you happen to be this high up in the sky, this is what it would look like. There's the greenhouse here, the garden here, the classroom, the admin building. Again, those are for offices, shops, machine shed. Again, laboratory. That laboratory is not going to be for heavy chemicals, which was already discussed. That's going to be for soil testing and things like that. So again, all of these buildings that are associated with agricultural use, agricultural buildings are exempt from our zoning regulations. So with the conditional use comes conditions that supposedly make the proposed use generally more compatible to surrounding areas. They're not just permitted outright without some conditions that will lend itself to that compatibility. The first one we offered up is, it is determined that an entrance pipe is needed. A pipe shall be sized in accordance to the Raleigh County standards for road design and platted subdivisions. In no case shall the pipe be less than 15 inches in diameter. And that's just the entrance, both the entrances going in and out of the site. So that provides proper stormwater drainage and safe entrance and exit. So property owners are required to maintain all publicly granted drainage easements. I don't believe there are any in this, but it goes. We like to have that in there just in case there are. They are responsible for natural and non-natural structures or vegetative barriers, including but not limited to trees, shrubbery, berms, fences, and walls that are prohibited in publicly granted or publicly dedicated drainage easements. I want to make that clear. Finally, all drives and parking areas shall consist of all-weather surfacing and be resurfaced and maintained on a regular schedule as needed. In this particular case, as mentioned, the driveways and parking areas, for the most part, will be gravel. And for the site and all uses thereon shall be in compliance with the Riley County Sanitary Code. I believe there is rural water. The site will be served by rural water and on-site sanitary sewer. I believe the admin building and the classroom will be served by I believe a standard septic tank and lateral feed. Number 5, areas will remain in a natural state except for areas of improvement. All disturbed areas due to improvements will be seeded. And number 6, buildings and structures shall comply with state of Kansas minimum building and life safety codes. This particular use is subject to the state fire code. All proposed lighting shall have directional control or appropriate cutoffs to minimize spillage and light trespass. Obviously here we're talking about exterior lighting, yard lighting, that kind of thing. And existing riparian areas, and there are some north of this area, and native tree stands shall remain intact as much as possible to act as an audio and visual buffer to surrounding properties. All areas, unless improved, will remain agriculture. If you go back to the pictures here, they're in your staff report, there are trees that are going to be retained. There's going to be some that are going to be removed for the placement of the buildings, but as much as possible, the trees that are there are going to be serving both as a windbreak and visual screening from North 52nd Street. Finally, all signs shall be subject to section 6.12 signs of the Riley County Land Development Regulations. So based on those conditions that have been offered up for the board's consideration, staff recommends the requested conditional use be approved. That's all I have. If you have any questions for me, I just want to point out that the applicant is here in attendance with a speak. Also, the architect would be speaking directly after him before we go into the public hearings on some proponents. Okay. That's all I have. If you have any questions for me, I don't have anything.
I don't think so. Don't.
That's not going to change if I turn the light on, right?
No. Oh, wait, just kidding. No. No. Okay, if we could have the applicant come forward and speak.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I'm Todd Bunning with the State Farm. I'm a founding member and currently the CEO. Have some board members tonight. Melissa Walls, a founding member, as our farm manager. Eric Peck's a founding member and one of our instructors. Pat Murphy is a founding member and as our engineer. And then Bruce McMillan is a board member, and he's going to give you the details after I make just a few clarifying comments. Bob covered a lot of it. We are a transitioning farm for veterans and families and other beginning farmers. We operate now primarily from 2 grants from the USDA, one a beginning farmer and rancher grant, one is an agricultural veteran grant. But we have received significant support from John Deere Foundation. We currently teach, we have evolved a lot over the years. Our current program is 20 weeks long. We believe that our typical class size will be around 10 to 12, 15 students. There was a time in the past when we thought we'd have much bigger throughput than that. We have found over time that that's the right size because we are an intensely hands-on program. So we will not have large classes like was envisioned at one point in time. We will reach 100 farmers a year, but most of that will be through our beekeeping training, which a lot is done virtually, and from the farm tours that we take all over Northeast Kansas. We would hope to graduate, let's say 30 students a year through the 20-week program, 2 5-month courses. We have a strategic plan and it's being updated. We have no plans in any of our plans to house students on the property. We make an extra effort at this property to accommodate everyone, and particularly those with physical challenges. So everything we have built up to now is ADA compliant, and everything we will build will be designed so that students with limited mobility can access it. We have not shown here an honor orchard where we grow hazelnuts and blackberries, and the blackberries will done on a trellis system, so it can be easily maintained by people with limited mobility. We will have a kitchen, a very, very small kitchen, probably more like the kitchen you see in the dormitory here at Kansas State. Not a commercial kitchen. We will not provide meals. We don't intend to have any dormitory or cafeteria, but we will have a small stove and a microwave so students can heat up whatever they bring for lunch. But we don't intend to be a cafeteria in that type of a school setting. Normal operations will be standard business hours with the occasional exceptions for harvest or other specialized farm activities. We learned over time you can't schedule farm activities. They take place when they take place. We expect that we'll continue to have students from all over Kansas, but we have had students from all over America. We are a one-of-a-kind school. Most of the schools, for a variety of reasons, are done virtually with very little hands-on, and we are all about getting your hands dirty and coming out and playing in the dirt with us. So that's one of the things that's different about us. What we tell everybody is we graduate a safe apprentice. We are not miracle workers. We can't train a farmer in 5 months. But we can train someone who has good broad experience and can safely operate farm equipment and then go to work for a farmer who can take them to the next level, or they could safely operate a small scale farm of their own. The 2 classrooms that we're particularly pleased to have were donated to us by the Flint Hills Christian School. And then a veteran company out of Iowa came and moved them for us, and they will put them in place to meet all of the criterion of the county as far as the slabs and the piers and how to be bolted down, and we'll get a significant facelift. We'll make sure the siding is all good on them, and we intend to close cell foam insulate underneath them and then put them down with proper skirting around them. Eric is a firefighter, so we'll meet all of the requirements to make sure that they're all in good shape. But we were pleased that the school thought about us, and they're doing tremendous expansion out there, and they had these 2 classrooms, and that allows us to put things in place much faster than our standard budget would allow. And so we want to just recognize their generosity to us, and Hitched Wholesale, which is the company that came and did all this for us for about 25 cents on the dollar. We are very appreciative at the Save Farm of the benevolence that we have received from this county and many people in this area that have made it possible for us to do what we do. And with that, I'll turn it over to Bruce for some more details on our plan.
Thank you, Todd. Good evening, members of the board. I'm Bruce McMillan. We have an architectural practice located here in Manhattan, actually right across the street on Points Avenue and the Colony Square building. So we were able to walk over this evening for the meeting. And wanted to express that as a military veteran myself, I'm very pleased to have had the opportunity to work with the SAVE program, and was approached originally by Colonel Grange when the process first started. So I've had the opportunity over the last several years to watch the program evolve, and again, I'm glad to see that the farmstead has been acquired by the organization, and that they're being able to move forward at the time. I'll be glad to answer any questions. Primarily, our role has been to work through the application process for your review, and hopefully you've had an opportunity to study that. If you have questions regarding any of the components on the application, I'll certainly be glad to answer those. We are within all of the constraints, as we understand, of the site proper. Setbacks are shown on the plan as well. Garrett Baker with our office is here as well. He has provided all of the graphics that you have this evening, and hopefully those have been equally self-explanatory. If you have any questions on that, I'll certainly have here on forward. The site plan should convey all of the components. The classroom and the admin building are positioned well within the setbacks. The configuration that is shown right now is the initial concept that has been discussed. Based upon final slope and possible drainage, there may be some adjustments and shifting of the way the actual buildings are positioned, but they will not violate anything that the conditional use actually has for you in the request at this point. Your traffic generation is on two gravel paved drives that all meet 90-degree intersections with 52nd Street. So there are no blind spots. That would be a problem as far as traffic is concerned. Traffic is minimal, with only, as Todd said, 15 students and a small staff of faculty. The signage regs will be followed as far as Raleigh County regs are concerned, and all of your vision triangles have driveways will be maintained as far as we can tell at this point, so there should not be any conflict there at this time. With that, I would be glad to answer any questions you have, or if Garrick can answer any questions as well. And the components for the application hopefully have been adequately addressed to meet your needs at this time. There will be on-site utilities on-site, septic system, as Todd mentioned as well. And we don't foresee any impact negatively on the site proper or on the neighbors. At this point, it's been clearly identified that the scope of the project is considerably narrower than was perhaps originally envisioned. And the board members are here as well to answer any questions you might. Right.
Does anyone have questions right now?
I guess I had
Oh.
one. Todd? Yeah, I got a question for you. So the classrooms that you're going to be using on site are the ones that were donated?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, so, okay. All right, I just wanted to clarify that. So, okay.
I have one question here. I've been out driving around during COVID. I found the safe farm. I didn't know where it was before and stuff. And it seemed like there was a hedgerow right along the road there and stuff. These drawings don't indicate anything like that. And there was something that said about that the trees need to stay in place. Bob goes,
And Garrett might start. We are, by the way, pro tree, so we're going to try to not take.
well, no, I mean, that was pretty shabby looking. It needed to be trimmed up and everything, but.
Have you been out there lately? Because we've been working on them. They
No,
are pretty scraggly.
like I said, I found it one day while driving around.
What you see there as far as the color drawn, those are rendered.
Right. So that's why I didn't look
Take a
at,
look at the site plan.
I went to this.
No, go to the site plan.
This is a concept that has been developed at this point.
It's a set one.
Yeah.
And you'll see the trees that go there, and it shows which
Okay.
ones will be removed.
Okay. I just remembered you saying that and stuff, and I didn't see those and was wondering about that. So, okay. Bruce, thank you. I was gonna say, do you have others that want to speak then also? Or,
I think we're good.
okay. Anybody else have any other questions?
Pretty well answered some of the
Okay.
questions I had wrote down. So.
Okay, all right. Then are there any proponents here tonight that would like to speak? People,
Well,
would you please come to the mic and state your names?
My name's Mike Winter. And I just got questions about a lot of things.
Okay,
Are they going to improve the road? We got 2 one-lane bridges there. You start doing this, more traffic. So who's going to pay for that? Is my $1 million question.
could you tell us where you live in relation to the safe?
I live at Walnut Creek Road.
I'm not from it, from the same farm where,
Okay, from that farm, I probably am. Escrow flies 2 miles.
so why are you why are you?
Why am I
concerned?
concerned? 'Cause I
About that
drive
road
down
then?
that road.
Okay, that's
And
what I need to
I've
know.
been
You-
down that road and these guys that go there fly down at 60 miles an hour. So is anybody going to improve the road? That's my $1 million question.
Okay,
And they're talking about a school. So who's teaching them? Somebody that's educated on farming and all that? Or just farmers? That's the other question.
Okay.
That, I mean, I don't have a problem against the program at all, but I got problems with the rest of it. So you're sitting there going, they're gonna do this and this and this, so have they probed the ground and all that for sewer and everything already? That's the other
I
question.
would assume if they,
I'm just, yeah,
if the county department has given them the permit, then everything has been checked out.
okay. So where they're doing this school, there's a creek just so far away from it. So that's the other question, so. I don't know.
And what's your concern about the creek? The water run towards that creek or,
It runs downstream all the way to Wildcat Creek.
well, no, I mean from the farm. Does
from
it,
the farm.
does the water run from the farm to that creek
It
or?
runs, it's all downhill, so it runs all the way into that creek
Okay,
down to Wildcat, so
Okay.
there's the other question. Are they doing a lagoon or are they doing laterals? That's the other question.
well, again, the health department had to approve all that,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. But that's my thing is who's gonna like the single bridges and all that, with all that traffic going down there, who's gotta pay for that?
And where is this bridge in relation to the farm?
Oh, there's two.
Is
Just
it
one.
east or west?
One is both ways.
Both ways. Okay.
So, that's the other thing. Are they gonna widen the bridge or the road and all that? That's the other question.
Okay,
So that's my statement. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
thank you. Are there any other opponents?
Yes, Denton Visser. I'm surely not an opponent to the Safe Farm. I wish them their mission and the success of it. My question is location. Further on what Mike was saying, the roads there, you have 4 miles of gravel to the east that they come down, and if you drove that, and I really think that the planning board should have been part of what was assessed here to you people, is access to that property. Come up 4 or 5 miles from the east, gravel road, several, it's just basically one lane road, typical. When you meet somebody, you get off to the side, you don't meet them full speed. And I know how it's traveled. I've been out there with harvest equipment and things, or trucks along the edge of the road at harvest time, and FedEx truck flies by. Well, we had this past weekend, thank God, we had some dust settlement. But until that time, the dust and dangerous coming up Silver Creek is another access road from the Keats Road or the Anderson Highway. There's some major issues on that road as far as safety. In fact, the lady that lived on this farm was killed on that road a number of years ago. in an accident. Going to the west, you've got bridges, and then it's more than one bridge. But basically, my question, I certainly wish the farms said us, but location in various, not just, but safety to the roads and you know, I gotta wonder why that location was originally chosen. Because of one being the proximity to the fort. And I know there's I understand that there was other locations available over time. And that as you're investing somebody's money, even though it's grants and donated in that money into infrastructure, location. And I can tell you that
Would you please direct your comments to the board?
I am.
Well, but you were.
I have to look at you.
Well, I felt like you were talking, you weren't talking to us, you weren't talking to us, making points, talking to us.
But I really think that until the traffic, there's several reasons. And some of my thoughts are to them, wishing them the success of it and the decisions that they're making. But I think the one issue, and it's issue enough, is the location and the safety of the roads. And I'm assuming they're a tax exempt organization, and the Silver Creek Road there, well, I feel like that the safety of that road, as there becomes more and more traffic out there, will have to be addressed at some point in time. But until I think those issues need to be addressed prior to the approval of a school out there. Number of students, teachers. I think the one issue of roads and the zoning people really didn't address that in their presentation at all.
Okay.
Is that they access their but I do think that maybe I was addressing them. I think why was that location originally selected is an important question. And it is to the success of it and the safety of traveling to and from. And I probably have, but that'll be all I have for now.
Thank you. Hey, is there anyone else?
Yes, my name is Alex Peterson and I live in Wamego. But I come here today as a landowner that will have a direct impact on the outcome of today's meeting. Save the Farm bought the ground that surrounds our 5 acres on 3 sides. We bought this land 30-some years ago to enjoy its peaceful surroundings. It is a remote location 1 mile from a paved road, wooded area with a creek. We would never have imagined that an entity would seek to have such a peaceful rural farming area, make it into a school and have the enormous funds that Save the Farm has to make our quiet country setting into a busy, noisy location. We currently live in Pottawatomie County, and we bought a quiet place just outside of Wamego 20 years ago. The commissioners rezoned land across from our home. From my experience, I can tell you that our location is no longer a quiet place because of the rezoning laws. With the rezoning laws came high volume traffic. The gravel road to our north sees speeds in excess of 55 miles an hour. So much so that Pop County had to institute a 40-mile-per-hour speed on all gravel roads because of the increased dust, but that traffic law is seldom obeyed. The rezoned land across the road from us holds numerous events scheduled during the weekends, weeknights, not just during the workday, leaving very seldom quiet time. Yes, the businesses are wonderful for the community to have, but the people who had established homes in that area are now denied that peaceful serenity. I just ask that you consider my experience with rezoning be taken into account with your decision tonight.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Sue Williams and I'm fighting allergies. Sorry. I live on Silver Creek now in the middle of a pasture. I just found out about this meeting last night. I was really actually shocked that there was a school going in. I'd heard rumors about it, and I'm all for the program. Don't get me wrong. I love it. And I think it's a great thing. I do. But I'm moving out there to help keep my family farm going. And I have young boys that are learning how to drive, and they are getting out on that road that he was just talking about, that God's love and Vernon was talking about. They are traveling fast. And I know there's only 15 students, but it only takes one that's going 65 miles an hour that's going to hit my kid on that road. And I'm not okay with that. Tonight, coming home, this is a prime example. I followed a truck that was going probably that fast. I don't know. The dust was so much, because it only takes one rain and then you get one day and then it's back to you can't see anything in front of you. But I followed them all the way to the Save Farm because I figured that's where they were going. And they did. They pulled in. It was a grayish colored truck. It pulled into the Save Farm. So I went down to Stephen Don's and I turned around and I waited. They came out of there and I followed them all back, and I escorted them all the way back to the highway because I knew they were going out. 65 at least. But I kept telling my boys, you have to watch out. And I shouldn't have to preach to them about that, because this is supposed to be like a nice little country road. It's supposed to be quiet and serene. That's why I moved out there. I'm going back home. I grew up out there. I'm going home. I am not going home now because it's crazy out there. The traffic is crazy. They don't have control over their students driving. I understand that. But I'm moving out there. Like, I'm building a house right now. I don't want to have to fight that. It's frustrating. I want to live in a quiet place. You're going to build a school, and I'm sorry, my grandpa couldn't be here tonight because he can't for health reasons, but he is beside himself. Because that's not what that countryside's for. It's to farm, it's to put cattle on, it's to fence. It's not to go to school. So that's just our 2 cents. But he's really right on the safety part. It's a really big deal, like a really, really big deal.
So do you live out there right now?
We're in the process of moving stuff out there yet.
Okay, so, or did you grow up right around there?
Yes, I grew up at the other end of Silver Creek Road.
So you
I
have,
know all these people.
okay, you've been around the school then for the time that it's been there.
My grandparents live on 52nd Street. They are the next house next to the Save Farm.
Okay, okay. So,
And our land is butted up against them, the farm land. And I had to get one of their cows out of our alfalfa the other day because they jumped the fence, and we fixed the fence because there was nobody around. We dealt with it. It is what it is. But again, I love the program. I do. It's just the location is terrible. It's just terrible. And I don't know. It's not the greatest place to put it. And it's not the greatest. I mean, the roads are terrible for somebody to have a whole bunch of traffic coming in and out. It's just a quiet area, and it's not going to be quiet anymore. It's showing that already. And it's really sad. It really is. So that's just my 2 cents. Sorry.
okay. Does the board have any questions for her?
I thought you had a new house already built out there.
It's built.
Okay, well, you said before you didn't have a house built, so.
The ones with the grain bin silo garage. You can see us from the road on 52nd. We're behind Carl and Lorraine is my grandparents. Carlson and Lorraine is passed away last summer.
Is it this house that's right across?
The white 2-story up there.
Well, we can't tell
Yeah.
what it is, but yeah,
That would be me.
okay.
Yeah. So our driveway is off of 52nd, but we also.
That's my house.
Oh, that's your house,
Okay. So I'm the one on the hill on the other side.
Oh, okay, okay.
But so our driveway is actually off of Silver Creek, but we have an easement that comes off of 52nd.
Okay,
Because my husband drives a big truck and trailer for landscaping. And so he comes out of that drive. And I will tell you that there's a lot of traffic coming that way, and just a heads up, you might tell your students to drive a little slow there, because when he comes out of there with a truck and trailer, he has to stop to shut the gates. And it's, they come flying over the hill, and it's just I don't know. It's just scary.
So there's a hill close to where the school is.
It's up a little ways, but yeah, it's a hill. It's right above by the tower that they just put in. But yeah. But my grandpa used to walk out on the road and make the circle drive, and we won't let him walk out on the gravel road anymore now because it's just, there's traffic. I mean, we know when silage trucks go by because we know the time of the year. So we know when not to go out there, and you know when to be slow. But now it's like haphazard. You just don't know.
Okay. Okay, so any other questions? Thank you very much. Anyone else? These are opponents.
That I live here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We live here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
And I am Dawn Sin. I live at 9721 North 52nd Street, which is directly across the road. And the traffic is an impact. Our roads, we've taken 318 acres for the Save Farm, which I am not against either. But there are no taxes, property taxes paid on that anymore. We've taken that out of the tax base, and we don't get good maintenance on the road. When we had the flood, the Labor Day flood in, I don't remember what year it was, about 8 years ago, 18. There are washouts along the road that have never been repaired. And if you pull over to meet a car, you've got to know where you can pull over and where you can't. And it is a one-lane road. But I drive it every day. I work in Manhattan. I meet traffic. And if you're meeting a pickup that's going 40 or 50 mile an hour, the dust they're throwing up, you don't know if there's anything behind them for maybe a half an hour or half a mile. You don't know if you're meeting a second car. And it is. Our house, if it were to burn down, we can't put it back where it was. It's grandfathered in. We're close to the road. We get all the dust. All the dust. And it's just not a good location, like everyone has agreed. The road won't support the traffic. Two one-lane bridges, one on either side of the farm, whichever direction you go. Our land has been in our family for 100 years, and we live out there for the peace and quiet, or we moved. And it's not as peaceful and quiet as it used to be. We have a lot of traffic. It used to not be that way. And I wish it wasn't now. I still use a clothesline. I can't do that because of the dust, but I still do. We just wear dusty clothes. But it's not the neighborhood it used to be. So, but if somebody like, you can come out and you can look. We've not had good maintenance on the road. Drive just up the hill from where their orchard is and look off to the north side of the road where there used to be a ditch. Now there's washouts that if you drove off in one, you would break an axle on a car. So maintenance they tell us they can't afford to put gravel on, but then we've taken 318 acres that we're not collecting taxes for the township anymore. They're not going to be contributing to the upkeep of the road. So that's all I have to say.
I have one question,
Okay.
and everybody said it tonight, but isn't 52nd Street a county road?
No,
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 it is not. It is a township
it's a
road.
township road.
That makes a big deal. Okay, I've been down it several times in my life. I took for granted it was a county road.
No, it's township.
Well, I guess you guys all need to get on township board then so you can get something done.
Sir,
I've been writing.
are you
All
a
right, let me ask you
opponent
this
or,
question.
excuse me? Are you a proponent or opponent? Opponent
Yeah.
or against it?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Okay.
My name is Jay Copeland, and they've done a good job over there. I wave at them every morning because I live directly across the road. But something nobody's addressed, besides the road being bad, is within 200 yards of my driveway and their driveway, because they're probably 20 feet apart, is the road goes straight down into the creek. And you cannot see a car coming up from going west until they're on top of you. I mean, it's that quick. And if we add 15, 20 more cars all day long, in and out all the time, someone's going to get killed there. I worry about it because the school bus comes by. I go down through there and I feed cows. I worry to death pulling out of there because that's what something nobody's addressed is that road right there. It drops and you cannot see because there's a blind spot there until that car is dang near on top of the hill, 50 feet, 100 feet from both of our driveways. It needs to be addressed immediately. And the other deal is we have become a bicycle route. We have more bicycles riding back and forth out there at night, early morning, than you can shake your finger at. And the dust goes roll, and I can't believe that somebody ever got killed. I'll be honest. There's times that the dust is so bad, I didn't see a bicyclist came close, like, you know, you want to say, get the hell off the road. And they ride right in the middle of it and they don't care. They think they own it. That's going to be one of the deals that happens right there is you can ask Don, and then there's more bicyclists out there than it's unbelievable now. It's like ride 52nd. It's the great road to go ride on, you know, part of it because there's no rock on it, you know, so it's got smooth, you know, so, you know, and they're right. We don't get the maintenance like we should during that flood. There are still craters and stuff. And, you know, right now, you know, I was going to talk to them because I think they did a poor job. They just put terraces in, which look very nice, did a great job. But the one terrace comes right out to the road. I mean, within from you to me. And there's no ditch to drain it to. It's going to stop. There's going to be a puddle there. But if we get a 4 or 5 inch rain in an hour, 2 hours, it's going up over the road and it's going to go right into Steve and Don's driveway down their house. That's where the water's going. There's nowhere else for it to go, you know, and I don't blame them. I blame the AFCS office or whoever drew the design up because they have to go off that. But you go out there, I don't know what they're going to do with that water. There needs to be a ditch all the way along there. And how deep do you make it? Because we never know if we're going to get, you know, since I've lived there for 30 years, we've had 1 10-inch rain. You remember the 10-inch rain that Manhattan got? Well, it started at our place and everything flooded. All went down to Wildcat Creek. And I don't know where that water's going to get. I really don't. But there is nobody, I don't even know what you could do with the driveways with the hill there. My driveway is dangerous. Their driveway is dangerous. It's a dangerous spot. And we have school buses there, and I'm concerned. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Okay.
My name is Dennis Tegmeyer. I live about, less than a quarter mile west of the farm on the south side of the road. And just to piggyback on what Jay just said, if you go west, there's a hill that goes straight down to a 1-lane bridge. And until you get up on that, it's steep enough that there's a car down there or a bicycle down there, you don't have a prayer. It is a short hill, but it's a very steep hill right to a 1-lane bridge. And that's both of those bridges are dangerous. And we were talking about bridges in a county road, and it's not a county road, but it's the county's bridges.
Because it covers so much water.
Yep. And so here a couple of years ago, my wife used to walk down the road, and now she drives to Riley and walks in Riley because it's not safe to walk on our road. My daughter and the dog were out on the road. The dog got run over and the person didn't even stop. Now I can't prove who that person was, have no clue whether it had anything to do with the Safe Farm or not, but that never used to happen. And so you're ruining, by allowing this, we're ruining a lot of safe neighborhoods, and we live out there for a reason. And the other thing that I want to bring up that's a real concern to me is if my neighbor, I live, 300 yards, something like that from this place. And if my neighbor wouldn't have told me that there was a meeting tonight, I would have never known about it. And I think somebody owes the whole neighborhood an
You
apology.
didn't get a letter?
Heck no, I got nothing.
Because you wasn't within the.
I wasn't within 1,000 foot.
Feet. Okay.
Now, all these neighbors are more than 1,000 feet away, except for 2 of them. And so I'm assuming maybe 2 or 3 got a letter. But you're affecting all of our lives. And I don't know who came up with the 1,000-foot rule. But
That's
it's
the
a bunch of
standard.
bull.
That's the standard for,
Yeah, that's a bunch of bull, because you're affecting our lives too. And so I'm not against the program. I think it's a wonderful program. But again, the location is terrible. And that's like Jay said, someone has to die before we decide to change something. I hope not. Thank you.
any questions? Okay. Is there anyone else that is an opponent that would like to speak?
I'd like to add one thing I could do for them.
Please come up, Ben.
I'm gonna add to what Dennis just
State your
said.
name.
And Visser, I'm gonna add to what Dennis just said about the notification is a deal like this, it's gonna increase the traffic on the road. Should have been notifications all the way up and down that road. 4 miles east, up and down Silver Creek, because that's where the traffic's gonna be. It's all gravel road, all township roads. So I wanted to add that. The other thing is on noise that Isaac talked about. I don't know about their yellow zone or blue zones or how they got that. But I've stopped a tractor out there in the field because of noise, wondering what if a wheel fell off or not. That's happened more than once, and I'm a mile north. So on occasion, the noise is way past yellow.
Hey, is there anyone else that is an opponent? Are there any additional proponents that would like to speak? Is there anyone from either side that would like to say something before we close the public hearing?
Do I gotta walk it?
Please.
Give me a break.
We can't get you on the microphone if you don't.
Come on, honey.
Sorry.
But what Ben was saying, we are in the red zone. So there's supposedly roughly houses supposed to be building, as far as I know. But it's in the red zone on the bonds and all that. So
Okay.
that's what I know of. So because I am in red zone, because it shakes the watch me now, heck out of my house. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
We want to allow these folks a chance to talk again.
That's what I was just going to ask. Do you folks have any rebuttal or anything else that you would like to add?
Well, I certainly take the safety concerns seriously. We don't think we're going to increase the flow dramatically. In the last year and a half, we've only had 5 students. So whatever the challenges are on the road or that are existing, apparently, or who else might be traveling the road. But we're safety conscious, make no doubt about it. Some of the details, I don't know. We don't have anybody out there now that has a gray truck. So who knows about that? And we can certainly tell our students to slow down. But this was the land that our founders found that was given to sell to us. So a lot of discussion about the location, but this is the land that was available that we had somebody willing to help us acquire, so that's why we picked that land. There are days, sure, we'd like to be closer to town, we'd like to be on paved road, there's a lot of that we would prefer, but this is what we have, and we have made significant improvements to it already. We think we're making a difference, and we'd sure like to stay there and put these buildings in. Yeah, it's a school now because of the classroom. It's been a school for 3 or 4 years, but when we went to actually establish, identify to the county these are classrooms, that's what brought about the requirement to have these zoned as they are, and we have followed all of those rules. We're listening intent, so we want to be good neighbors. We want to get along with our neighbors. So I guess we're in a disagreement here, but we don't want to cause anybody harm. We don't want to, in any way make things even more dangerous than they are. I'm certainly aware of those one-lane bridges. I'm aware of that in many roads in Kansas. There's challenges with roads in the dust. I grew up on a gravel road, so I can relate to that. Nothing I can do about that, but we take it seriously, but we believe we're good neighbors and we'd like to proceed.
So I got a question for you. So, I mean, it's been brought up through the discussion tonight about the traffic. So over the 20 weeks of school, you said there was 12 to 15 students.
Yes.
So your current situation, how many students do you have through the next couple months? I take it it's come and go. The students is a come and go thing. So
we slowed down a lot with COVID, and we now our program's approved to receive the GI Bill, and that kicks in January. So that's when our students will come up to 12. Typical class in the past has been 3 to 5. We will never have giant classes, but we will have 12 to 15 students and 2 or 3 staff at any one time. And at normal business hours, we don't normally start class until 8:30, 9 o'clock. We're usually done by 3:34. We don't do anything in the evenings unless, like I mentioned, farming requires it, which would be rare. We don't do anything on weekends.
Anything else?
Man, I'd like to ask another question to him. So I still got to state my name, Mike Winter.
Thank
You're
you.
calling this a school.
So,
Okay. Do you got teachers there with a 4-year degree teaching these people? That's all I need to know.
Yes.
Okay. That's all.
We meet all the requirements of the Kansas Board of Regents to be a recognized.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
We're a good mix of people with PhDs all the way down to people that are just very experienced, skilled farmers. We can take that as one of our strengths.
And I know some people that was involved in there and they didn't have no teaching degree.
That's for the clarification to the board. This use is a permitted conditional use within the district. And the application has addressed all of the conditions that are requested within the document. All the notifications were provided to those individuals within the allowed notification district. And so I say the board has met, our estimation at this point has met all of the requirements for you this evening to consider this application positively. So thank you.
thank you, Bruce. Are there any other comments? Do I hear a motion that we close the public portion of this hearing?
I move we close the public hearing and go into our deliberation mode.
Second. Been moved and second that we close the public hearing for this. Oh, I hear I've lost my paper. For the Safe Farm petition and go into our deliberative mode. Before doing that, I'm caught kind of in an unusual situation here tonight. I have been involved with the Save Farm for probably 10, 15 years, something like that. They would come out to our farm twice a year. And my husband used to be an ag teacher, but we just farm now. He's a first generation farmer. And he would talk to the students about the economics of farming and what it takes to become a farmer and make it go of it and everything. And we haven't had anything to do with the Save Farm through COVID and everything. And I wasn't going to recruit myself tonight, but I think since there's so much controversy and everything, that maybe I better do that so that no one can, misconstrue something I might say. I mean, I totally understand where you folks are coming from and stuff, but I'm so much behind the Save Farm too, like so many of you are and stuff. So I think maybe it's just better that if I do that at this time and stuff. So John, if you will assume the chair, sorry about that. Just to kind of dump it on you.
Throw me under the bus.
Sorry. I will just scoot to the side here and.
So at this time, there's a motion on the floor to close the public hearing and go into our deliberation mode. Do I have a second for that?
I thought I seconded it.
Oh, did you? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll
That's right.
second it.
That's right.
I'll second it for a second time.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. We'll go into deliberation mode then. We'll start with you, Nathan, then we'll end with me.
Well, just ag exempt stuff.
So this is ag, completely ag exempt from my understanding, this farm is just like an ag exemption. So
what are they really asking for tonight?
all we have to do is for the conditional use for the building, the classrooms and the administration building.
Okay,
That's the only thing that what we are going to vote on tonight. The rest of it is complies with the underneath the ag. Is that correct, Bob?
And they're exempt.
Yep, they're exempt. So the rest of it's just like if it was a regular farm in operation.
so this kind of the same deal we had with Liquid Arts out here.
Yes, exactly. It's the same thing with the way we had with Liquid Arts. Yeah, our hands were kind of just more or less tight. Or untight or whatever.
Yeah.
So
What's the traffic? We talked about bicycles. So that coming from the school, if your bicycles from something else. So a lot of this traffic issue is there regardless of whether the school's there or not. So really, people need to be going to the township and lobbying for the roads.
The bicycles are coming from Manhattan.
excuse me, the public is not
Well-
involved anymore. So that's just
I
deliberation,
gotta ask the question, I'm sorry.
just deliberation between
Yeah.
us, Nate and the
Well, I
staff.
was just I should have asked it when they was talking about part of the traffic is not related to the school out there. then.
It's just like any area,
Yeah.
any part of this county. I mean, but go ahead.
No, that's just kind of the thing. So I was kind of wondering.
But you're right. I agree with you. It's a township issue. I noticed in the staff report that the Wildcat Township trustee did not refer back to Bob on any of this. I read what the county engineer had to say. There was nothing in there about any traffic. I think his deal was talked about. Public Works did not see any traffic impact study or stormwater drainage issues with the additional buildings. So that's really all he had to say. He never really said anything about the township, about the roads and stuff. So Bob, do you have something you want to
I was just gonna say,
chime in to us?
usually would get a chance to talk to the county engineer about development. If there's problems with the road, it's a public right of way. Anyone can use it anytime, whether you live out there or not. if you're cutting through from Tuttle Creek Boulevard, to Anderson. And then you're flying through there. Now, the road might not be in perfect condition, and I agree, it probably is. But it's the public's responsibility to fix it. The bridges on there, I believe they're probably most likely on the bridges to be replaced in the county, and there's a priority list of the ones that are completely falling down, the ones that are just too small, and all of them are scheduled for replacement. So we don't know when that's going to happen. I spoke with the county engineer regarding this particular thing. I told him that the number of people that they're planning on having at the site at any given time, and he didn't feel that was enough to warrant a full-blown traffic study, or felt that there was sufficient vision clearance so you can actually see what's coming on and going. It's on again, the driveways are at a 90-degree angle with 50-second. It's not on a curve. Yes, it's dusty. The county has a dust control program. They work with the township, I believe. I'm not sure if it's just strictly county roads.
It's all for a fee.
Yeah.
It's all for a fee. I think it's $500-600.
Yeah, and they can take care of quite a bit of that. So I'm just saying that that's available for a discussion between the township and the county and get that worked out. And that would definitely help. I've seen it applied and where it wasn't applied on a number of roads, and it does make a considerable difference. But anyhow.
Because I think at one time back on Johnson Drive, I think that was a township road, and they were going to prove that. And Wildcat Creek at one time was a township road, and they put dust control and the county took it over. So they can only get lucky and have the county take this part of the road.
Yeah,
that's probably not going to happen. But
yeah,
so
probably not.
Yeah. So okay. Nathan, you have anything else? Rita?
I guess my concern is that the township trustee didn't respond.
Yes,
We don't
yes.
really know, what their concerns were. And I don't know if that's normal, if they don't respond or.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It just depends. Yes.
So they did everything but the classrooms. I mean, they can just operate as a farm.
They can, yes, they can all, yeah. So, yes. Yeah, they can still operate as a farm, but not as a classroom or an admin building if we.
And they'll operate this farm whether they have the classrooms or not.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we don't have any say with that.
Nope, because it's ag exempt, because it's a farm.
that's what I thought.
Yep, it is a farm. So. Anything else? Yeah. Okay. So, a lot of good points. I mean, as far as safety as a road, I mean, I don't care where you're at in this county or any county, there's, you have to drive with the way the road is. You have to be diligent in the way you drive. As Bob said, the bridges may be on the list, down the road. That's not now. So, yes, the farm's going to be there no matter what. So our deal is, our obligation would be to either to approve this or not to approve for the classroom administration building. So, I don't really have a whole lot. As a board, we can't do nothing about the roads. That's township and the county's and that's their responsibilities to take care of that. We have nothing to do with that. So otherwise, that's all I have. So
We'll make a motion that we approve the conditional use.
I have a second.
being that we don't have any control over the road, I would make a second.
It's been moved and seconded. The motion's been moved. Motion's been made and been seconded that we go ahead and approve the conditional use for the service member agricultural vocation education course. Do we have any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? 3-0. So, all right. So,
I don't sign it.
okay. All right, I guess we'll move on to our second item of business tonight. If you guys want to stay and round for the second part of the meeting, you can. If not, go ahead and we'll let you guys go ahead and clear out. If you could, take your visiting beyond the first door all the way outside so we can continue our business this evening without interruption, please. Thank you.
Back your way.
Just wait on Diane to come back in.
Give up your responsibility.
Yeah, our railroad.
Yes.
I apologize. On the agenda, it doesn't list it, but I need you guys to close the Board of Zoning.
Okay. All right. We'll have to close the phone. The zoning.
I
Oh,
didn't get
yes.
my
No,
agenda
that's fine.
correct.
Yeah. Okay. So is there any other business needs to be brought up in the zoning appeals meeting?
Nice.
Hearing none. Do I hear a motion that we adjourn the zoning appeals meeting?
I move we do so.
Second? Second. Been moved and second that we close the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. And we would like to go as the Board of the Riley County Planning Board. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion opposed, same sign, motion carried 4-0. Okay. Board of the Riley County Planning Board is now in session. The first petition that we have tonight is for a Douglas and Rebecca Pishney Trust. Douglas and Rebecca, that's the property owners also. The Douglas and Rebecca Pishney Trust. So, Bob, are you ready?
Almost. Okay. Once again, good evening, everybody. Bob Isaac, County Planner. On behalf of the Douglas W. and Rebecca S. Pishney Trust, Doug and Rebecca Pishney have made application with Raleigh County Planning and Development requesting approval, the residential use designator for an extraneous farmstead or an unplatted tract of land and to plat that property into a single lot. The subject property generally located approximately 3,740 feet south of Parallel Road on the west side of Swede Creek Road. Note that Parallel Road at this location is the county line between Riley County and Marshall County. It's up there north. The subject site consists of a 0.81 acre unplatted tract developed with a single family residence, constructed in approximately 1976 and remodeled in 1996, and a 1.89 acre portion of a contiguous undeveloped and unplatted tract of land. The applicant wishes to assemble some additional acreage surrounding the homestead tract and plat it into a single lot and sell it off from the existing farm. The proposed enlargement of the home tract is to come into compliance with the sanitary code. The site has been zoned AG agricultural district since at least 1974. Most of the property surrounding the subject site is zoned AG agricultural district, with the exception of lot 1 of the Paget addition shown here in green, which was rezoned and platted in single family residential July of 2007. There are no special uses, variances, or conditional uses that are associated with the subject property. Riley County Fire Department number 1 will serve the site. The nearest county fire station is the Swede Creek Fire Station, located at 8360 Swede Creek Road. The property is not located within 5 road miles, which results in an ISO rating of 10. The specific criteria for approving a residential use designated for an extraneous farmstead are listed in section 4.7 of the Riley County Land Development Regulations. And there are 5 standards that must be met for approval. I believe the board is familiar with these. Again, the property needs to be platted. And at last, an agricultural protection easement must be signed and filed along with the plat with the register deeds. If you have any questions on the criteria, stop now. I think the board is fairly familiar. This is a preliminary plat illustrating the orientation and location of the lot's boundaries, the house, accessory buildings, and propane tank. The subject site directly above Sweet Creek Road, a gravel 2-lane local road maintained by the township. There are no new entrances being proposed with this request. Notice the red line there. That is the actual lot, or excuse me, the smaller tract that the house occupies. And this is the extra ground they're taking out off of this larger parent tract in order to make this large enough to make this existing septic system compliant with the sanitary code. And that is the final plat of the property with no changes from the preliminary. A few pics of the property. This is we are talking about an established homestead wishing to expand the area or the land area to meet the requirements of that sanitary code. This is looking westerly along the proposed south boundary of the proposed lot. The limestone outbuilding will be included with the new lot. Another, just panning to my right, looking at a more northwesterly direction, you can see the outbuilding in relation to the proximity of the existing single-family residence. The photo also illustrates how the proposed lot slopes toward the south. The same location, essentially looking north, this pic illustrates the proximity of the homestead to Sweet Creek Road. And looking west from Sweet Creek Road, this is the home that occupies the property. And just moving a little bit further north, this is the pic showing the home, the driveway, and the garage in the background. With that, staff recommends that the board approve the request to receive a residential use designated for extraneous farmstead, as it has been determined that it meets the minimum requirements of the Riley County Land Development Regulations. Staff also recommends that the planning board approve the concurrent plat of Pishney Edition, as it has been determined that all requirements of the Riley County Land Development Regulations and Sanitary Code have been met. That is all I have on this one. If you have any questions, glad to give them.
Do they own the land around this house?
Yeah.
Or are they gonna have to buy this?
No, they own it.
Then why is the house,
Why are they taking it out?
well, I mean, why is it in a small enough
Yeah.
area if it's part of the overall? I can see maybe they don't want the house, they want to sell it, but I don't understand why it's in that small of its own. Start.
If you take a look at this, this is where the sanitary septic system is actually located off of the tract. It crosses the property line, so it's technically not in compliance with the sanitary code.
I mean, why is that tract there separate from the farmland if they own the farmland? Why is it? I mean, I'm looking at my house, just my house.
Why
has
is
a
this
little tract.
separated out?
Yeah.
Good question.
Okay, we'll have them answer it when they come up to speak.
Do you have any other questions for me?
What my question was, we're only supposed to have one when there's a extraneous extraneous.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, a farmstead, we're only supposed to have one. The regulations say one per.
Let's back up to that slide. Shall we? Okay, so I think it's. Oh, yeah. Here. That got changed. There's only one on this anyhow. This is
There's
it.
two right there.
No, the other
One's a platted subdivision.
It's a subdivision, it's a
Oh,
single
it's a
family.
subdivision.
Yeah,
It's a single
Okay.
family
Okay.
residence AG.
Okay,
But so you know, in this particular case, it used to be one. And if it has been determined that a second house, if it happened to get.
right, if it's involved in the farming
Yeah,
operation,
then they,
yeah, I understand that.
so, well, I can probably help you out with this too, right here. You can kind of see it there. So what you see in green is a platted lot that was done in 2007. And by the way, for pretty much the same reasons. That was an extraneous farmstead. But we didn't have the extraneous farmstead residential use designators. Yeah,
Back then,
yeah, we didn't have that. This is how we treated it.
okay,
So we don't do that anymore because when it creates a spot zoning, it throws off the LISA analysis by introducing single family residential where most likely it shouldn't be.
so what's gonna keep people from, if this happens and stuff, not these folks, but a general comment about the situation? That can other people go in there and buy some land and get a SF1 then?
No, again,
Okay, it's
this
just-
is in 2007. This is prior to the comprehensive plan.
Okay, so that it's, I thought we had that taken care of, so that
Yeah,
wouldn't happen.
now I want to make it clear though, that if someone were to do that in any part of the county, we would have to take what they're wanting to do based on the merits of the case and then based on the facts and what's going on. Anytime there's a rezoning, it requires a LISA. And that
Right.
tells us a lot whether it's appropriate conversion from agricultural to residential or not. And again, it's a decision-making tool for the boards.
As we did that north of the Raleigh County High School, earlier
Yes.
this summer. There was that piece
right.
of track we did in there,
That's right,
and we did
it
the
was,
same
yeah.
thing for that. We took that off of a ag deal, just like what they're wanting to do here.
Okay.
We've
So
done,
things
we,
are in-
it's, it, we've done not multiples of these. It's just a little bit different situation where that SF is stuck in there
That's-
from the previous,
Yeah.
from 07. So
Yeah. So, it depends on location, depends on the store, the LISA. If there's any other, attributes that we have to consider. I mean, it might very well, someone might want to do this and there's no house and they want to build one. And let's say that, again, we try to go through a list of other things, other options, try to exercise the best option so it doesn't have a negative effect on the community as a whole, the county. If it came down to that being the last case scenario or last resort, to rezone it, we've had to tell people we might not be able to support that and recommend for it because of LISA score or other factors. It might be in the noise zone too. So we really don't want to encourage that because of the joint land use study recommends not to do something like that.
Right.
But in this particular case, again, it's ironic that it just happens to be in that one spot,
Okay.
next to the single family residential zoning.
Yeah, that's what,
And you can see that this is before and this is after.
Mhm, okay.
So,
All right,
like,
any other questions for Bob?
I don't have any.
Okay. I think the applicants are out there. The applicant is here, is that correct? Yes. Okay, would you like to come up and tell us anything other than what Bob said?
I have,
Please state your name.
yes, I'm Doug Fishney, and I have nothing to add. I mean, we bought a house in town, and we've got people that already want to buy this place. And we had to do it for the sewage. And we had to increase the acreage, that's all. And
Okay,
hopefully you'll understand that that's what we did. And
okay.
we, you know, that's all I have. I mean, there's
So-
nothing more.
You said you might have had the answer to that.
Yeah.
question, why that square around the house that didn't include.
Okay, that was way back in what, 1972 or 3 or 7? My folks deeded us off an acre.
Oh, okay.
And that's the way, that's what it is. That's that little square.
Okay.
That answered that question. I was just curious why that was.
That's what it is. And then we had to add another acre and a half or whatever to make it compliant. So,
Okay.
So do you currently own all the ag
yes, I
ground
do.
around it?
Yes, I do.
That's why I was curious if you owned the ag.
Except for that little
ground.
green spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know why that little square was there if you owned all the rest of the land around
Right.
it. You thought it all went together.
That could be, I can understand that it's confusing, but that is what it was. We were deeded that land from my dad. When,
And so in the green spot, is that where your dad lived?
yes, that
Okay.
was the home, that was our
Okay.
homestead, where I grew up.
Okay. That explains a lot then.
Okay,
Thank
you.
Thank you. Any other proponents? Any opponents? Or opponents? Hearing none, do I hear a motion that we close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we close the public hearing for the Pishney request to I'm sorry about this. I got it there. To receive a residential designator, extend U.S. farmstead for an unplatted tract of land or of land and plat said tract into a single lot. So, okay. Any comments?
All right, so Rita closed the public hearing, John seconded, you need to do.
Oh, we need to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Carried 4-0. Okay.
Pretty
now,
straightforward.
deliberation.
Got a good parliamentarian, keeps on life.
Yeah.
It's straightforward. We've been, like I said, we did one earlier this year or here this summer. So it's, you know, as Tom would always say when he was here, it's good housekeeping.
Good housekeeping.
Good housekeeping and
That's
house
right.
cleaning and making things right the way it is, you know, and with the septic tank, you know, not being within that acre, you know,
Need to get it so they can
it's, yep, it's
Make
doing
it
the right thing.
do the
So,
thing, so. Do I hear a motion that we approve or?
yes, I move to approve the request of the
or a resident?
residential use designator extraneous farmstead, and it's been determined that it meets the Raleigh County Land Development Regulations.
I hear a second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the residential use designator for the extraneous farmstead for the Pishney Trust, petition number 220041. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 4-0. Okay, is there any other business?
Yes, I move to approve the concurrent
Oh, the
plat
confirmed plat. I'm
of
sorry about
Pinckney
that.
addition as it has been determined that it does meet the requirements of the Raleigh County Development Regulations.
Okay, it's been moved that we approve the plat. Do I hear a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the plat for the petition for the Pishney development. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 4-0.
Good luck.
Got to go.
Oh, yeah.
This announcement.
I was gonna say, any other business?
Go ahead.
The Board of County Commissioners will hear the plat portion of the request on Thursday, September 22nd at 10:20 a.m. in these chambers. So one more stop. Yep, September 22nd at 10:20, right here. Same place, same show. That's all I have. Thank you very much, folks.
So before anybody moves to adjourn, the October meeting is the third Monday of the month. I just wanted to remind you all.
I had that on my calendar and I was doing some stuff today and I crossed it out because I thought, oh, I wrote it on the road.
You'll send us a reminder, won't you?
And I can send you a
Yes, please.
reminder. We do have our employee day, the second Monday of the month. And so remember, we moved it to the third Monday. Oh, yes, and I need you all to sign that. Now somebody can move to adjourn.
I'm over adjourned.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Post same sign. Motion carried 4-0.
Recording on it. Yeah.
Okay, you guys.